Hey, Jordan, Mallory, and Jill. Pleasure to meet you guys.
How's it going, man?
Whoa.
Yeah, first thing I gotta say is huge congrats. This is a massive, massive anime.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
First question I have for you guys is when did you realize that this was gonna be something big and something truly special? And I'll start with you, Mallory.
Yeah, it's been a couple different points as the show has just gotten more popular and more popular. The first was when I got the text that I would get the role of Frieren in Frieren Beyond Journey's End. I was freaking out. I already knew, oh my gosh, a title character in a show. This is huge. This is epic. I felt an immense sense of responsibility, to do the character justice. So I immediately was like going to Google, like, okay, what are people saying about the show? And there was already fan base of manga readers who were totally hype about the anime. All the right pieces were in place in terms of Studio Madhouse doing animation, Evan Call doing the soundtrack. Like people got the sense that this was going to be something big, but I don't think anyone really knew just how big it was going to become. So that was my first moment. But then just seeing the trajectory of the show, even into season two, I talked to people and they're like, oh, yeah, I just started watching last week. I binged all of season one, in one sitting. So it just only continues to grow and grow as more people discover the series.
Well, and one of the things, there are a lot of folks who choose to watch it in the Japanese, which the Japanese Frieren is phenomenal. The dubs don't always get a lot of love, um, but just like I remember, I liked the show. I was like, I hope people watch this. I think this has the potential to be big. But I just started seeing like clips of the dub specifically, like trending on Twitter and like going viral and usually when I see clips of shows it's in the Japanese, so I'm like, oh, they're listening to me specifically. That was really cool because it's a great beautiful show, but to know that people liked like my performance, specifically like our performances, was really really cool.
For me, before the show, like I think before we were dubbing it, I actually had a friend of mine come up to me and be like, "Hey, yeah, like everyone wants to be in Frieren." And I remember being like, "What? Like what show?" Like I had never heard of the show before. And I remember looking it up and it was like, "Oh, cool, sweet." Got called in to voice Stark. I didn't even know what I was doing when I got called in. They didn't tell me, "Oh, you're voicing Stark," until I was in like behind the mic, and I was like, "Oh man, okay, cool. I get to be a part of this really wonderful show, Freer and Beyond Journey's End." And then I remember, I think Mallory, like you and I, we were doing like a convention together, and we started seeing, people cosplaying these characters, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like we get a chance to see like maybe this is starting to take off. Um, and then by the end of season one, you had this. I mean, there was already a lot of fans, but you had just so many more people coming up and being like, "Hey, I love this show. It's so good. It's fantastic. I love the story, the art, everything." So having all those people come with us for season two, the stakes are a little higher for dubbing, making sure we're on our A game. But it was just so cool to see how quickly the popularity of a show like this became, and I think it's because it resonates so well with so many people.
Oh yeah, it really does, and I think your performances, all three of you guys, have really done that for a lot of people. So I think that's truly special. Something I want to get to you specifically, Mallory, when it comes to Free Ren. What do you think she's taken away from Himmel? Because she spends a lot of time remembering Himmel. What is it specifically about Himmel, do you think, that she kind of really resonates with and really inspires her?
Oh man, there's so many aspects of his personality that I feel like are so admirable. He's just such a fun character. And just to see how the public has embraced Himmel. There's been a few instances of like, someone who's a Himmel fan saving people on a subway from a knife fight. There was another instance of a Himmel cosplayer like putting out a fire. It's what Himmel the hero would have done. And so there's this heroic aspect to his character that I think, Frieren is still grappling with the passage of time. And he seems to have such a clear idea of wanting to be remembered by others. And I think she really takes this idea of being remembered throughout time in kind of her own way. So there's this heroic aspect of Himmel that I think she is learning to embrace even now, as she's traveling with the current party.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Jill, I really enjoy your performance as Fern. I think it's really, really special. A question I have when it comes to that kind of performance, we all know that Fern is a little bit quiet, a little bit soft-spoken, but she does show glimpses of her emotional state and emotional being. What does it take to kind of tap into that and to really show the detailed emotion that she's trying to express?
Yeah, I wonderful guidance from our director, Jade Saxton. Sometimes there are discussions of was that too much? Was that not enough? I also have to give props to her Japanese seiyuu, Kanaichi Nose, who is my favorite seiyuu. We've actually shared a few roles, which is such an honor. And so when we record, I get to preview it in the J and hear her phenomenal performance. And I draw a lot of inspiration from her as well. So yeah, I've just got a lot of really cool, talented people on my side helping me out. So
And it really does show. I think it's amazing. And Jordan, when it comes to Stark, I obviously everyone loves Stark. I think his addition to the party is equal parts his warrior side, but also his big personality. Would you say that that's kind of what is the driving force behind Stark, just equal parts warrior and having this charm to him?
I think so. He's very likable, just even in the show. Going from town to town. I think even like Frieren or Fern, they were like, "Why does everyone like you?" And he's like, "I don't know." Um, and it's he's just very helpful. He's always trying to be helpful. He's great with kids. He obviously cares about his party members, and yes, he can have a big personality from time to time, and I think that kind of balances out. You know, Frieren and Fern, and kind of the quietness that they bring. Although Frieren has her moments like her tantrum, and it's just funny to see a character who's a bit more comedic relief, and he's being screamy and yelly, but at the end of the day, he always pulls himself together and is reliable. And I think that's the biggest part of his personality is they know they can trust him because he's always there.
Absolutely. And something special about this show, and I'm sure a lot of people have said this already, but the themes of community and friendship feel so powerful in the show, but they feel so powerful now, like more than ever. Why do you guys think it is that these kind of thematic elements inside this show is hitting and resonating with so many people? And I'll start with you, Mallory, when it comes to that.
I think, these days we're more isolated from each other than we've ever been. It's so easy to say, you know what, I'm just gonna scroll for a few hours, and you're having these sort of pseudo-social interactions that aren't necessarily like real relationships. And so I think seeing these characters and experiencing, especially Frieren, how she's learning to understand other people, to pay attention to the nuances of Fern's personality or, the strength of Stark, in a battle. She's paying attention to people and she's learning human emotion. She's learning to appreciate the moment, appreciate the people around her. And I think that resonates with people in a time where we're more isolated than ever, just to see people coming together, communities coming together. And I think, the fan base itself is a community in many ways because we're all watching on Frieren Fridays, talking about the episode, posting memes, low angle Frieren, all of these things. It feels like a family. And I think that also really is impactful for people.
I'll jump to Jill for that same question.
hopping onto that idea, like the busyness of the modern world, I feel like a lot of us are doing a lot, but also I think season one aired in 2023, and that's not that far off from the gut punch that was 2020, where we all experienced a lot of isolation, a lot of grief. And so I think that's part of why Frieren has really resonated with people. Those are topics that a lot of entertainment doesn't like to touch on because they're not necessarily pleasant to think about, but they are very, very important. And I think Frieren Beyond Journey's End deals with those things in a way that is gentle, but it doesn't shy away from like, no, this is important and we should pay attention to this. And I myself have learned a lot of lessons from the show. So it came to me at a very good time in my life. So
And it really does hit. It really does have an affecting nature to it. And it's really, really special. I think it's probably the most special part of the show. And I really do appreciate your guys' performances. Thank you again for taking this time and for really giving us something that's truly special. And I think will stand the test of time because I think this is a really special anime. So thank
Thank
you
you.
guys so
Thank you
much.
so much.